Welcome to another episode of Who the Heck Are We? We are glad to have you on board. It's episode number 36 already, and we have some great news to start things off. Our podcast is now a member of the Globally Ballin network. So that means our episodes will also be available on video and they will be available on the YouTube page of Globally Ballin. And don't forget to check out the other shows on our network. They're also available on the YouTube page. So thank you again. We have the Globally Ballin podcast, as you see right there. You take a surface level view of the sporting opportunities around the world, and also go to globallyballin.com for more information. And another show, which is quite new, it's 5 Minutes with. So Nico Salva is their most recent guest, and they had some very interesting insights to share. So make sure you check that out. Our third show, of course, under the network, we also have Hang Time with new host Denise Dinsay. She sat down with volleyball star Joanna Maraginot. And last but not the least, we have an eternity of basketball with Noel, Charlie, and Sid. So you get to relive the golden era of Philippine hoops. They've had some great guests too from the USA. I've enjoyed listening to them myself, but they've gone from the likes of Tim Cone all the way up to Freddy Hobalde. But anyway, on to the show. Let's get it on the road. My name is Claro Manzano. Alongside me is Claudia Parain. Jay De La Cruz is set to join us too. He's having some issues, but he will be on board. But we got another distinguished guest, Claudia, in Danielle Imperial of the Philippine national hockey team. Danielle, hello. How's it going?
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on board in this show. So, again, you are part of the national team of hockey here in the Philippines. It's a very interesting sport the moment it enters your head. Perhaps, what got you into this sport, given that we live in a tropical country and hockey, of course, is a winter sport? Yeah.
Yeah, so my cousins actually grew up in the States. And when they moved back, the first thing they did was let us watch the Mighty Ducks. I don't know if you've seen those movies.
Perfect movie.
And they're coming up with a new series this year, so that should be exciting. But anyway, yeah, that's how it started. So we watched those movies. And then back then, they'd sell plastic hockey sticks in toy stores. I don't know where those went. But we managed to get our hands on that. And then rollerblades. So we started in our garage, just here at home, and then in the driveway. So my brother also actually plays. I think we started, I was 5 and he was 3, or I was 6 and he was 4. So that early on. And actually, ice hockey didn't come along for us until 2010. So it was all street hockey for us up until then. And I don't think ice hockey was anything that we imagined ourselves getting into, much less getting into the national teams, but it happened, and dream come true, I guess.
Oh, that's really interesting, because you see in Mighty Ducks, when they don't have rink time, they're on the rollerblades. So
Yeah.
did that make it easier? Okay, you're learning hockey on the street on rollerblades. Is it the same, siguro, maybe as learning on the ice, of course?
I found it to be very different. Even now that I'm more accustomed to ice skates, when I get on rollerblades, it's really different. Like, I don't feel as talented anymore. It's very different. But in the start, I guess it was just, we were just happy to get on skates like we saw in the movies. And then with the sticks and balls, like we copied everything there was in the movie, from passing with eggs to practice soft hands. Yeah. But in the movie, if you remember, they did that on ice. It does not on the driveway. So we just have to try.
I guess you guys learned the hard way, no? Before I pass it on to you, Claudia, one thing, you copied everything. So did you guys try copying the flying V of the Ducks?
Well, there's just 2 of us, but I think if we had enough, we would have.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to you about the Mighty Ducks. I was looking at it. There's a new movie that's coming out about.
There is. It's a series. Yeah, it's not just a movie. It's a series.
Oh, it's a series. Sorry. And
fun. I'm so excited.
Bombay is
back. He's back.
So for me, who is your favorite player in the Mighty Ducks?
I'd have to say Adam Banks. So I was always an Adam Banks fan, and my brother was always a Charlie Conway fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they were rivals, remember? Because I think it was Adam Banks was from the other team.
Yeah,
right?
in part one. Yeah, and then yeah, and then 2 and 3 they're on the same team.
That's right, and they call themselves beef. Was that cake? Oh,
Cake eater.
Was that what is that?
Cake eater, because Adam Banks is from a higher social class.
Completely different now, but yeah, we shouldn't say that on air. But yes, that's
just for the discussion.
I know, but I'm pretty excited to actually watch the Mighty Ducks. But for this series, you said it was series, but I think they twisted it where they're the mean ones now. No.
I don't. I watched the trailer and I think they're making it come off as like they're a group of kids that the other more competitive teams don't want. Like I know one kid even says that I'm a podcast body, not an athlete body. He says something like that. So I'm so excited, and I think I watched one of that kid's movies. He's so funny. I think that's along the same storyline, but obviously more modern. I mean, they also showed parents taking the sport very seriously, and there's this kid having fun, and the parent brings on a sports psychologist for her 9-year-old or something. So it's going to be very interesting. With all that.
Hopefully it brings up a lot of interest again.
Yeah,
like it did before, like what Claro said. And what you mentioned earlier, that it was Mighty Ducks that actually influenced you to do hockey, and the fact that there's a series pa na matagal, like Cobra Kai. After Cobra Kai was shown, I think everybody wanted to get into karate. Or
and
when
the Gambit.
and the Queen's Gambit, I was just gonna say, when the Queen's Gambit came up, people just wanted to play chess. So so I hope it puts up a dynamite of encouragement and inspiration.
Hopefully the rinks are open by then.
Yes.
That's right. Claro?
But before we move forward, Claudia, who was your favorite in Mighty Ducks? I'll share mine after you.
Mine?
Yes.
Oh, God. It was Adam Banks.
Also.
Adam Banks.
Okay, so it's
cute.
It's 2-0 Adam Banks, because I like Goldberg and Coley.
And Goldberg. Goldberg. Goldberg was cool, man. But Adam Banks, because he was cute.
And good. Yeah.
I'm
like
sure.
The basis. Yes. It's a classic, right?
Basis, yeah. All right.
Okay. Good answers, Claudia. Okay, speaking of hockey, of course, you're hoping that you can shed light on how it's like in the Philippine scene. And perhaps you could tell us, you guys, you play for the national team, but when you guys aren't out overseas playing in any tournaments, maybe do you have any league here?
Yeah. So we do have leagues now. We have 2 actually. We have 1 minor league and then 1 major league. So the difference being the minor league, only kids, above 11, I think it is, kids, girls, and older men who are just playing for recreation.
Okay.
And then the higher league, that's where the men's national team plays, and the more competitive junior players, as well as some expats who really bring the level higher. But yeah, so those are the only 2 leagues we have, and neither of them are professional leagues. Mm-hmm. So nobody plays hockey as a profession here. And we don't get paid. Actually, we pay to play. So we pay to play. And I don't know, like most of us, like we study, we work outside of the ice, and the only rink is in the Mall of Asia, so it's quite far from the city, like the business districts, schools, residences. So it's hard to get there and balance day-to-day life with just hockey that doesn't pay the bills, so you can't make a career out of. But yeah, things have been really growing since the federation came together in 2016. So Hockey Philippines. Before that, everyone was just doing their own thing in different rinks and training on their own for no one goal. But now everyone's on the same page, and there are national teams to really train for if you want to make that. So it's definitely more organized now. But I wouldn't say it's where we want to be, like, and not everything's ideal. So definitely we're still working on the development aspect of it and really just growing the sport.
Thanks for sharing that. Before I give Jay the hockey assist, perhaps with this league now, is it correct? Only the majors, only the men play in the majors. Am I correct? Or
Yes, girls aren't
okay.
allowed there. Yeah, because it's a full contact sport. So even
Yes.
in the International Ice Hockey Federation rules, women's hockey is not full contact compared to men's hockey. So
Okay.
I think that's mainly why.
So I guess maybe in the minor leagues, that's where you and your national teammates are able to play against each other, stay in shape on a regular basis, right? Jay?
Ayan, there you go. There's my mic. You were talking about that league that you guys are doing at Mall of Asia Arena. This might be the league. This might be the game that I'm seeing on a random weekday night or random weeknight in Mall of Asia Arena, where if you guys were able to go to the food court area back then when Mo was not yet destroyed, the way it is right now. Well, because it's undergoing renovation right now. Because that that food court you had a very that food court had a very good view of the skating rink, right?
They
And
did.
that's where you see competitive hockey being done there. It's not just nice to see because
Yeah.
even though there's no fans watching, well, I'm the fan who was watching that one. I'm so amused by what I'm seeing right there.
Yeah.
Those guys back there are giving it their all. I mean, it's like you've mentioned that it's you pay to play, but at the same time, those guys are filled with so much joy, so much fun playing the game that they love. I mean, can you describe you how you guys are in your everyday lives? I mean, you have guys like day job, you have collective group whatsoever, or you have guys have business, and then you just show up in that one random weeknight that yeah, let's play hockey, let's go.
Yeah. No, it's funny you mentioned that rink. So since I've started playing, the rink has moved to 3 different locations. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started, it was that one under the food court. And
Mm-hmm.
you're right.
Yes.
One thing that was great about that was everyone could just gather around the rails from the first to second floor and even the bridge on top. So it was right
Yeah,
above the rink, and I think like if you looked on either side, you could only see half the rink, but still
yeah,
people would stay there and watch. So that was really nice to give the sport exposure. But unfortunately, it closed before hockey became a more serious sport in the Philippines. So back then, it was just you know expats and some local players organizing the league. But now you have players from the national team competing, and the level is really that much different now. Um, I guess that's one thing that I really liked about the rink, and who knows how popular hockey might be now if we still had that exposure to be at the very center of the mall.
mm-hmm.
Because right after that, we transferred to the parking lot, so
Yeah.
you have to go there intentionally. Like you don't just walk past it because it's in the parking. So it only
That was
I
that was
think
one beside the Mall of Asia Arena, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that,
it was just a tent. I know it was
Right.
temporary, but still we were there for I think 3 years, from
yes,
2015 until 2018. Yeah,
yes.
around that time.
It's about to
So
become IKEA now.
yeah, so not that many people were able to really watch hockey. But as a player, I loved that rink because the air conditioning was much better and the ice was really nice.
Yeah.
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 Compared to being in the mall and you have to depend on like the centralized air conditioning and then a million people passing by just making it like really warm. So that made the ice not so great. So I don't know. There were their pros and cons. But right
Yeah.
now the rink
But
is
we're good right
on the
now.
third
Yeah.
floor. It's on the third floor right now, and that's where everything's played. Um, the air conditioning's just fine. The ice is nice, but it's very small. The seating capacity is not the best, and that's unfortunate because we're starting to host tournaments now, and like for the Sea Games, for safety purposes, I guess also they had to limit the seating capacity a very low number. I'm not sure what it was, but not even all of the players' friends and family were able to watch.
Ooh,
Wow.
So that's sad because the SEA Games is such a big competition in Asia, and even Filipinos really follow it. And I think we were counting on that to really push the sport into the public eye and to really market it. But yeah, so right now the rink is nice, the ice is nice, but seating capacity wise, I think it's hard to market a winter sport. And yeah, I think I just went there. Sorry, bring me back. What was
that's
the
right. Speaking of that rink, I remember when it came out, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, there's a skating rink in SM Mega Mall." And there was a long line, but to get into the skating rink, so people would go bowling first, and then when it's their time to skate, they would skate. Right?
Yeah.
Good package, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Then everybody was eating Dairy Queen. There was Dairy Queen right beside the skating rink.
Yes. I think that was the very first Dairy Cream store in the Philippines. Just
No,
beside that.
no.
No, there's way more.
Jay, that's sad. There's a Dairy Queen more than that. Yeah,
Yes. But going back to that Mega Mall area, as far as I know, that was the sole ice skating rink in Mega Mall. I think they have one in Las Piñas, right? The SM South Mall, they had one, but that Mega Mall rink wasn't ice hockey regulation, right? Maliit siya.
and there was a post in the middle.
I was just gonna say. So
Yun pa.
I remember speaking to someone who was also in the ice hockey team, but I don't think in the national team. But they said that when they played a tournament, their problem was their defending or their offense. They didn't have one in the middle because they kept they kept practicing avoiding that
With the
big.
post.
The
Yeah.
post.
I was like, wow, it actually makes a difference. So the opponents would always attack the middle because
Sira yung play.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So what position do you play? Tell us more about your hockey. What you do actually. How do you're the captain of the women's national team? But what is your position in the hockey team?
Yeah, so right now I play center, but for a while, like for 2-3 years, I was a defenseman. So actually, it doesn't really. Well, I think any player should know how to play all positions because, like, when it comes to it, you should be able to move around comfortably and be flexible with like what you have to do. But yeah, so in that, like on that note, it helped that I was a defenseman before, and so playing center, like. It's my job to really support the puck wherever it goes, and support just support the puck. I don't want to get technical, but yeah, so it's my job to like support the puck, and that means just playing offense and defense. Like everyone's played two-way hockey. So yeah, it helped that I went from forward to defense to center. Right now I play center mostly.
Yeah. So is that the playmaker?
I'll stick with that. I mean, everyone is kind of a playmaker. Like I'd say a defenseman would be more of a playmaker, but everyone is. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm still lost in all the positions.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So there's a center, and then a left wing and a right wing, and then a left defenseman and a right defenseman, and then you have the goalie at the back.
Okay.
So yeah, those are the positions.
Huh.
Okay.
All right.
So
All I know is that the flying V. That's all.
That actually doesn't even work in real life because you might go offside. So if a player crosses the blue line ahead of the puck, it's offside. So if you watch Mighty Ducks 1,
Yeah.
when you know the rules, you'd be like, I don't know about that.
So Mighty Ducks just gave me everything wrong about hockey in
I
terms of.
think they were conscious about it in the second movie. I think they changed it.
All right, Claro.
Speaking of Mighty Ducks, I think there's one point they mentioned. I was reading like they have like a fact check for movies and everything, and there's the speedy guy in Mighty Ducks 2 USA. I think Gonzalez. and he
Mendoza.
had the hard time stopping. Yeah.
He was
And
Pinoy. He's Pinoy, right?
the actor, really?
Yeah, he's Pinoy.
Okay.
Okay, I think so. I think, I'm just randomly saying out of.
No, maybe he plays in a league abroad also from the movie, right? Maybe he can play for the Philippines and broaden our pool, right? Anyway, well, with Gonzalez, he said he stopped, but I think he was stepping on like the box of the keeper. So they said that's not really allowed, if I'm not mistaken. You're not allowed to enter like that arc. Am I
Yeah.
right? Okay. Man, that's another violation we saw in Mighty Ducks. That
Yeah,
goal
lots
shouldn't have counted. Okay.
Yeah, you remember the knuckle puck?
Yes.
Yes.
We've tried. I don't think it's possible in real life.
Okay. Whew.
When he was that puts it like a.
You make it
One
stand.
side?
Yeah, you take a snapshot. No, I don't think so. But we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
you guys tried, right? Maybe after training, do you guys go, oh, let's try knuckle puck? If
No,
someone
no,
scores.
no. Maybe like in the driveway we tried, but then facing everyone who actually knew the sport, I think we were too shy to try it. Nah.
Oh, okay. No, but by then you get to see how serious you guys are. You want to win already. You want to work on the proper fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's not like just for perspective. It's like someone singing High School Musical while playing basketball. But when it's time to play hockey, okay, let's go. Let's set the movies aside. But let's go back a bit, maybe with the local scene.
Mhm.
With this minor league, how many teams did you guys have back when the league was running, maybe prior to the COVID shutdown?
Yeah. So we have 3 teams in the minor league now, each with 20 players or so. But the year before that, there were actually 4. What happened was a lot of the junior players moved from the minor league to the top league, and so we lost that many players for the minor league. Yeah. So right now the major league has 4 teams as well. Yeah, with around the same number of players, 20 or so.
Mm-hmm. So how does that work? Maybe you guys get to play each other twice in the season, and then maybe you move on to the knockout rounds after to determine a champion for both the major and the minors.
Actually, our season runs from October until April usually, and we play each league plays 2 to 3 games a week. So it's, I don't know if I'm doing it right. October, November, December, January, February, March. So around like 30 games. Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna try, but yeah, it's way more than two games per team. So let's say I play one team of 3. In 1 week, I play 1 to 2 games, all the way from October to April.
Per
So it's a
week.
lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but we have to wait for the mall to close, so our games start at like 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Clara, I have a question.
Go ahead.
With Danielle, how do you recuperate from your physical, like hockey, as we know, is a rough sport, right? And you mentioned earlier it's not really attractive for women or that. And when we watch hockey, there's a lot of fights. They allow fights in hockey, right? Do they allow that in the women's game?
Well, I think the physicality of the sport is a misconception, actually. Like, I think if you type ice hockey on YouTube or something, the first things that will come out are biggest hits or fights. I mean, that it doesn't happen that often. Like, especially for women's hockey, right? It's not like there is no contact allowed, and there aren't that many fights or any fights at all that break out. Even on the men's level, it's really not as physical as all those highlight videos you see on YouTube. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why Filipinos are have their reservations about the sport, because they know that I might lose all my teeth, or but no, it's not that physical. You won't lose your fingers or whatever. Yeah.
You won't lose your fingers when the blades go across.
You have gloves. Yeah, and I have all my teeth still, so it really doesn't happen.
But for you, like, how do you recover from, like, you say you played two
Oh,
games?
yeah.
Your recovery.
Yeah, I guess it's more of the late nights. So like I said, we have to wait for the mall to close, and our games start at around 9, and we end or we get to go home at 12. And I live in Quezon City, so from MOA and back, the traffic going there is crazy, and coming back, it's maybe at 12 a.m. it's not that bad. So that's one pro the late nights. But yeah, definitely it was hard to manage, especially when I was still studying and I didn't really have control over my schedule.
Yeah.
I think I can't imagine how the kids in elementary and high school do it, because their schedule is strictly from like 7:30 or 8 a.m. until 5,
Mm-hmm.
and they sleep so late. And I think like what I used to do in high school is right after class, I go straight to the MOA because it takes me 2 or maybe sometimes even 3 hours. Like at one point, it took so long. It was really bad. Um, Looking back, like I don't know if I do it again, but we just love the sport that much. But anyway, yeah. So it really does get hard. And now that I work, I realize how hard it must have been all these years for people who were working and playing at the same time. So yeah, I can't answer that. I don't know how my body recovered. I don't know how everyone recovers from it.
It
But
was for the passion of the game. I
yeah,
think
I was
it
gonna say
was
that.
that all
Everyone
the
was not
adrenaline.
playing that much. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it gave you a boost. You became the captain of the women's national team, right?
Oh, yeah. I
It paid off.
didn't expect that. I just really love playing. Like, I don't think it really matters if you carry a letter or not. But yeah, I think hearing it from my coaches, um, I just I've been told, or I'd like to think that the passion can be seen, and when players see you just loving what you do and really like dialing into training and focusing or having all the goals and aspirations that I do for the sport, then hopefully everyone else like buys into that and gets on the same page to really, yeah.
Mm.
You're just, you're
All
just
for the
shy.
love of the game.
You
Eh.
did a good
All, for
job
the,
in leading the Philippines. I'm sure.
all for the love of the game. Sabi nga nila.
Yes, for sure,
Uh,
definitely.
I have a question though, Daniel. Uh,
Yeah.
It's actually a couple of questions relating to playing the game because it is something you could say very dear to my heart because I don't play the game. But the first question I want to ask you is there any way to train hockey without being in the ice rink, especially in this very difficult time that we're not allowed to go to the mall for leisure reasons, diba? Is there any way to train hockey outside of the ice rink?
Definitely. When you play hockey, it's skating, puck handling, shooting, and then other things, but mainly those three. And the only thing you can't do off the ice is obviously skate. So,
Mm.
like over quarantine, I've been puck handling and shooting, doing what I can. Obviously, strength and conditioning. But to learn hockey, you just need a stick, a ball. Sometimes I use a golf ball. Yeah,
Not
so you
eggs,
can
not eggs.
not eggs, not eggs. But yeah, you can learn how to control the puck mostly. And I found that to be very important. Like I think that's something my brother and I
Mhm.
really focused on, like in the driveway. So when we got to the ice, it was just a matter of getting our feet to keep up. And once we learned how to skate, like the shooting and puck handling, just came naturally
Mm.
almost. We still had to work on it, but you do have to put time into like shooting and puck handling. So yeah, off the ice you can
Yeah.
learn how to shoot, puck handle, and I think
Yeah.
watching hockey actually also teaches you a lot about the game. You
Mhm.
need the hockey IQ. You need to know how to read plays. So that's also learning how to play hockey, right? And that makes
Yes,
it so
yes.
much easier when you get on the ice. So yeah, there are a lot of things you can do off the ice to learn hockey, but it all starts with having that stick, which I
Mhm.
feel is also a big problem for growing hockey here now. It's the accessibility of all the equipment, right? Like we don't have a hockey store. Even players now we order online. So that's yeah.
You actually answered my second question, because if I decide to learn hockey right now, obviously skating is out of the question, because I don't know a single thing about skating. Pero with you hockey players, skating is like next to breathing, diba? That's how easy it is for you. But let me shift my second question, because this is where I'm curious right now. You mentioned about strength and conditioning earlier on. Which is more tiring, running or skating back and forth for like a length of, I don't know, 5 or 10 kilometers in a single game? Because
I'd
it
rather
seems like skating is so effortless, di ba? Parang di ka hihingalin kaysa pag tumakbo ka, di ba? You run a half marathon, lawit na yung dila mo, especially if you're not trained to do that. But for skating, parang wala lang, sarap buhay, di ba? What is it like? Compare skating to running.
Okay. First of all, I don't like running that much.
Oh my God.
I'd say
Okay, you got it. You got it.
I'd rather skate like a lot of laps and sprints than do sprints like running.
Okay,
and
you
I
got
actually
it. You got it.
I got to compare it because I played floorball. I was lucky enough
yes, there you go.
to be with the national team in Thailand in I think 2019. So it's the same thing, stick ball, only ice hockey's on skates, and the other is like you're just running. And I would rather skate. The running is more tiring. Running is more tiring, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just more used to skating. And you're right. You have that glide on the ice. You can just relax, but it's tiring. It's tiring.
Oo. Because you cannot use momentum sa takbo eh.
Yeah, and you can't forget to move your feet, which I did a few times. So I fell a lot for floorball because I forgot I wasn't on skates.
Yeah, because it's instinct. You have that. It's not a switch anymore in your head, no?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Force of habit na yun eh.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was scary because in hockey, you have so much equipment. You have shin guards, you have gloves, helmets, everything. And floorball, you have no protection whatsoever.
Wala, just your plain skin, muscles, and clothes. That's it. Yun na yun.
I sprained my ankle on my very first floorball game against.
Ouch.
Yeah. So even the skates have so much ankle support, whereas rubber shoes, I sprained my ankle. I didn't know how to.
Ouch. Yes. Okay. I think that answers the question, and I think that will give me some encouragement to try skating finally in my life. This is not
There
tiring.
are rollerblades in the Decathlon. You can always check that out.
I love rollerblading.
Take note, listeners. There you go. Decathlon, rollerblades. Live your Mighty Ducks dream, all right?
Just don't follow the plays in Mighty Ducks, especially in. Don't follow. I have been fooled for like almost the rest of
We
my
have a lot
life.
of references for a 1992 film, guys.
No, mali. It's all wrong. Okay. So, Claro, go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of this, so you're a national team in 2 sports. Who the heck gets to say that? Because we hear of NFL players, they play rugby for their national team. We hear of basketball players in college here in the Philippines, some go netball. But you get to play the national team for 2 different sports. Guys, we never heard of that, right? Perhaps you could tell us about that. The floorball experience, we're amazed.
I was actually only on the team once, and the sprain didn't really let it last very long. After that, I think I had my reservations. I wanted to focus on hockey. I felt that I was more needed there, and I wanted to commit to that. So for the SEA Games last year, I thought ice hockey would be one of the sports. So I turned down the invitation to try out for the floorball team because I didn't want to go for the floorball tournament and then ice hockey with a broken ankle or something. So I had to choose one, and I chose ice hockey. So I haven't really seriously trained for floorball since before that 2018 tournament. But like a lot of the same skills go into the sport. So I think what I was lucky to have from ice hockey was my vision, because in ice hockey, everything goes really fast, and in floorball, it helped me, read plays better at a bit of a slower pace since everyone was just running or walking. And definitely the ball control and the shooting. Even some of the floorball players said ice hockey players really have hard shots when they try floorball, because the puck is 8 ounces of rubber, and then you have a plastic ball, right? So definitely the shot was there, the vision, puck control. So it was fun. Like I wish I could play floorball a bit more, but I think just like hockey, they're still also trying to grow the sport. So again, nothing's professional here. No one gets paid. There is no professional league, although I'd say in terms of development, floorball's a bit of a notch above hockey, because they actually play it in schools. I think UP has a team, CSA has a team, University of Makati has a team. So these schools play floorball, and Decathlon has floorball sticks and balls, so accessibility. Check. Yeah. So it was a really good experience, and definitely you have a group of very passionate athletes in floorball now trying to grow the sport. So whether or not I'd be part of it in the future again, definitely that's another sport that everyone has to keep an eye on. It's really nice to see them growing it.
So hockey players have hard shots when playing floorball. I think we got our knuckle puck time right there. Sakto, no?
That's right.
Yes.
I was just going to say.
Yeah. But you got to tell us how hockey helps you with floorball. But when you were trying floorball, which is something you're not familiar with, were you able to take something away maybe and saying, okay, because of floorball, I now see things in a different way maybe when playing hockey?
Yeah, I feel like, one, the court is a bit smaller, or at least the one that they play in here in UP. So everyone was thinking a bit faster than I was used to, and I was very impressed by that. I feel like that's something that a lot of us in ice hockey need. It's to have that fast processing, like when one person gets the puck, it's just pass, or go. So that was really, really great to see when I tried floorball, and even more when I was in Thailand watching teams like Japan. Thailand has a really good team. Singapore has a very good team. So it was really good, and I think mainly it was the speed of earlier I said it wasn't as fast because you're just running, but I think I'm contradicting that now. I think floorball would be faster from a player's perspective, because you don't have time to glide. It's you're running, you're thinking, you're passing. So actually floorball is a faster game maybe. I don't know.
I get where you're coming from. Yes.
You're gonna have
it's
to try it
relative
out.
Relative naman yung bilis niyan eh, 'di ba? I mean, if you're on skates, of course, naturally you'll move faster, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Pero if everything else is moving faster or as fast as you, talagang magiging tingin is mabilis eh.
That's true. I thought I was comfortable on the ice because of my puck handling, but then when I got to floorball, I realized I think skating had gotten me a bit. It gets me competitive on the ice. It's not my puck handling because it didn't work in floorball.
It's the skate. It's the skates that give you that.
The skating, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stay, Danielle. With you've been mentioning about plays and hockey IQ. It's so obvious that there's not much exposure of hockey here, ice hockey, here in the Philippines. How did you manage to delve into hockey plays and learn your IQ in hockey? Yeah.
So first of all, like I said, watching hockey, you learn a lot about it. Unfortunately, hockey games aren't on TV here, no. And I wish they were you see football games, volleyball games, basketball games, all other games except hockey. So my brother and I subscribe to the NHL TV, but it's not free, so not everyone really has access to that. But yeah, that's where I really learned to read plays. So watching hockey, yeah, but like more intentionally, I have a coach, Melanie Drew and Rachel Yanis. Shout out to them. Hi.
Shout out.
Yeah. So Mel and Rachel do help me learn how to do video review. So like what happens is we cut clips and then we look into how each player is moving on the ice and what happened, what could have happened, or like I just did a few sessions with them over quarantine because everyone got busy. They actually play professional hockey. So Rachel Yanis is a Filipina. She grew up in California, yeah, but she's Filipina and she plays professional hockey. She's played. Yeah, she played for Northeastern University, and then she played in the National Women's Hockey League in the States, and then she played for the Canadian Women's Hockey League. She won championships in both leagues.
Wow.
And then recently she's playing for a professional team, the Kunlun Vanki Race for China, and then they play in a Russian league and they won that too last year. So she's won in like 3 different professional hockey leagues, and she's Filipino. So every time they win, I just post, she's Filipino.
May idol na kayo.
Yeah, definitely. When she visited, a few of the girls cried because they were so inspired.
Wow.
We don't see, we don't see a lot of girls, much less Filipinas, who make it big in a very high level. So to meet Rachel and to have her train us, even, it was so big for us, and that just goes to show how we really need to see how far you can go. We need that inspiration. And anyway, sorry, going back to the film.
Go ahead.
Let's
going back to the film, so Mel helped me a lot with that, reading plays, and then Rachel helped me with strength and conditioning, and I think the difference with them and the rest of my training over the past X years is they pay a lot of attention to the details, and that film is one of them. So underrated. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we should follow that player. Was it Rachel Yanis?
Rachel Yanis, yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
Claro, you search for Rachel Yanis and tag her for this episode, right? And
Pwede.
yeah, before we start, I think Claro has a word for the sponsors.
Yes, okay. So the sponsor is not my barking dog in the background, but we'd like to thank homemadeph.com for our sponsor. So guys, and you too, Danielle, you can use the code who the heck. So for example, I've tried Oma's Kimbap Triangle, so suki na ako dun. So use the code again, who the heck, for your discount. Jay and Claudia, you guys gotta try it too, okay? So there you go. Thank you to our sponsor. Use the code who the heck.
No, here's the fun thing about being in the Globally Ballin Network. We have pictures already. We can exactly see what you are promoting, and our listeners, our viewers can exactly see what you are talking about right there. And that food right there makes my night much better if I have it right now in front of me. Diba?
Cheesecake daw masarap. Apparently it's really good.
Yun din, pwede, yes.
Okay, before my last question for me before I throw it back to you, Jay, do you think, Danielle, the Filipinas have the physique to play hockey?
Well, I'm 5 feet tall and less than 110 pounds. So I don't think you really need to be big and tall or built. It helps, I guess, but then you can get by even with a body like mine. So you see, even I don't know, like teams like Japan, Korea, Asian countries, and they're not that big. China, but they play in very high levels.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think it really has much to do with the physique.
Yeah, so there's a chance. There's a chance we have to just educate them from the grassroots.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Jay.
What I know about hockey right here is this is one sport that the United States cannot win against Canada, right?
They did
They
in the
won
last
once. They did. Yeah.
Recently.
Really?
in
Yeah.
Pyeongchang, 2018 Olympics. They won.
Yeah. They won.
Really? Wow. But I
And
mean,
then the
because
miracle. Diba?
yeah,
The movie, The Miracle. Was it the
yes.
movie The Miracle that US, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Pero since we're talking about hockey in the Philippines, Claudia had a good question about Filipinos playing hockey. But what about promoting the sport here in the Philippines? I mean, first question: is it really possible for Filipinos to love ice hockey? I mean, we are in a hot country. This one is played in ice. Are there any drastic measures we could do to make Filipinos appreciate this sport? I appreciate it personally, especially if you watch it live. Ang bilis eh. Ang ganda eh. Pero for other Filipinos in general, can we promote this and make them love hockey?
Yeah, I think if you let Filipinos watch hockey, like you said, definitely they'd love it. It's fast. It's very exciting. So I don't think it's very hard to get people to be interested in the sport. You know, it's played on ice. It's a winter sport. It's not as common. So definitely, it's not hard to think of selling points. But in terms of getting them into the sport and trying it, like I mentioned earlier, accessibility, like where they wouldn't know where to get the equipment, even if they were to play on the street. Sticks aren't in toy stores or sports stores. That's not something that's easy to come by. But I don't think it'd be hard for Filipinos to gain interest in the sport. It just has to be visible.
Mm-hmm. So if you're, let's say, for example, you're the grand ruler of Philippine hockey here, whatever you say will happen, or whatever you say must happen, where would you start to promote the sport?
I'd start by giving away free sticks and pucks or balls.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, or
That's a
I
good
don't know.
start. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just like wild, huh? So like
Go ahead.
in every street basketball court, leave 10 wooden sticks or 10 street sticks there with a ball, and anyone can just pick it up like they pick up a basketball and play on the street, right? And that actually happens in I forget where, but there is a group of guys playing on the street somewhere in Makati, and they managed to collect old rollerblades, old sticks, and it's amazing. So many kids are getting into the sport just because they have the equipment. So imagine if equipment was readily accessible, like anyone can pick up a basketball or a football or volleyball. Yeah, I think it would easily like hit it off with Filipinos. Yeah, I that would be amazing to see.
Yeah.
Free sticks in every street basketball court. That's what I would want.
Wow.
But hey, make no mistake about it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
That's a great idea in my book. Diba? Okay, guys, go ahead.
Speaking of that, no, you make the equipment accessible, and then I think that's a perfect time for you guys, the national team, to step in. You start teaching them the fundamentals and how to do things properly, and then these guys get the connection. So when they find out, wala si coach ngayon, my game. Oh, let's go to the game, and then maybe they do something. They bring the whole barangay, right? And then enough to do the wave. There you go.
Yeah, you said it. Like, if you get me started, we're gonna take another hour here. But yeah, so okay, I think just briefly, I was talking to Aaron about this when he first interviewed me. We wanted to bring in equipment, and it's something that I wanted to do straight out of college. But it's risky knowing that there isn't a market for it yet. It's just a potential market, right? But yeah, so I'm just gonna stop there. But you're right. If people start playing and we coach, I mean, we'd love to. Everyone knows that we have that responsibility to grow the game also, because after us, who's next? No, we want to keep that growth. So it's just a full-on development, right? So that would be very ideal. That's all I'll say na lang.
Yes, and you gotta start somewhere. That's the most important thing. You gotta start somewhere.
I actually started coaching 2 years ago. And just by coaching, I get my kids to say, Coach Danielle, I want to watch you play, or Coach Danielle.
There you have
you know,
it.
it's just
It starts from the grassroots for me.
I get very passionate about this. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Start them
Starts
young.
from the kids for me. Yeah, I'm the same. It starts with the kids. You gotta
Yes.
teach them from
Definitely, yeah.
a young age.
Yeah,
Speaking
but
of
I also,
grassroots, yeah. So I did some research on your team, and I think when you played your first tournament, you had some teens already, some younger players. How was it?
Oh,
Maybe, yeah, they're in the team so early, and then they get to speed up their development. Or maybe you could shed some light on maybe who are the promising younger sisters in the national team. Maybe these girls are the future, perhaps.
oh, definitely. Yeah, there are a handful of girls that I can say are the future of the team. But I think going back, you mentioned the very first tournament, and just to give you a picture how much we've grown since 2017 up until
Mhm.
our last tournament in 2019. So actually, in 2017, there was a we have a very little women's players in the Philippines,
Mhm.
and when we had to compete internationally, we had to have 22 players, I think, and we
Yes.
didn't have enough. So what we did was we called on players who stopped playing 10 years then.
Wow.
We just got them in. We literally pulled them in and said, "We need the numbers. We want to play. Please start playing again." Okay, so and then there were younger kids, like you mentioned. Yeah, I think the minimum age is 15 or 16. So we had girls at around that age, and then big range in between. And then obviously the experience levels were very different. You know, the skill gap is there. You have a handful of players who were who were good, and you know, majority of the team actually were playing their first ever hockey game in that
Wow.
tournament. It was a quite an experience, you know. But you know, in every game, everyone was growing. So our first tournament really was something. We won our first game against Malaysia. You know, we had our fair share of losses, some really bad, some not as bad. And then fast forward to 2019, we won gold against UAE in the last tournament, and a lot of the younger girls did stand out. And now I want to give a shout out to our younger players who I think, you know, are the future of the sport. And right now they're on the national team. So Naomi Kurechi, Kathleen Tan, Ileana Jimenez. Guys, I'm sorry I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe I'm missing names. But definitely, you know, these younger players are just so promising, and they love the game almost as much as I do. I say almost because, you know, I think I really like love the sport a lot. But yeah, so if I were to say they have the chance to really be like the faces of the team in the future, a lot of girls come to mind, and I just hope that they keep that passion for the game and really um, put the work in. You know, you can only go so far on talent, and I think, you know, hard work and discipline has to like chime in at some point. But yeah, definitely there is young talent on the team now. Yeah, hopefully we take care of that and get some more.
Thanks for like shedding some light on the
Yeah.
future of Philippine hockey. Yeah.
I wish we
Given-
can bring her teammates right here.
Let's bring them on the future game.
Oh,
Oh,
I mean, or it's like
that would be good.
If we bring her teammates right now, like in this episode, in this podcast, I don't know. Maybe Danielle will shed a tear or two if you see her teammates right
very
now.
emotional. Yeah, I get super emotional with them, and they know that. But actually, they're super shy. I asked a few of them to join me, but I don't know. Maybe next time I'll just drag them on.
Yeah. You gotta drag them on here. You got
Open
you gotta bring
invite.
them here. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question. You mentioned that you're very emotional. So how are you as a captain of the women's national team?
Yeah. To say the least, I think I've done most of my growing, like personal development, in hockey.
Nice.
I think I was 19 when or 18 when I was made captain of the team. And obviously, I wasn't very mature. There was a lot of pressure, all the passion, and it was so easy to get frustrated. So I didn't really handle that well. But I think as a captain, I was thinking, I have to be tough. They can't see me, like cry or anything. But then I think the team took that quite differently. I think they wanted to see that I was just as pressured as they were. So, the next years, I was more emotional, or I was more transparent with how I was feeling. So if one person would cry, everyone would be like, "No, I feel the same way too." Yeah.
That's empathy. That's empathy.
Same page, everyone.
So
Chemistry.
emotional in a sense that I'm very passionate about the sport, and then I mentioned it's not hard to get frustrated. But I think since I started competing 2017, I learned how to manage those frustrations and really just put work in and control what I can. So just a lot of growing, but in general, still very emotional.
And then it only stays in the ice, right? I was just gonna say court, right? It stays in the ice.
Yeah.
The frustration. I can't say that, din eh. I mean, I think
You bring
I think,
it home. You bring it home.
Yeah, well, yes, I do. Because I also do the strength and conditioning here. I do my foot
Right.
handling, and I think while putting the work in here off the ice, all those emotions are at the back of my head. I think it kind of also pushes me. So
Right.
yeah, there are a lot of ways to look at it, but yeah,
Wow.
Motivation din yun eh.
yeah.
You
You
can
have
use
your
it
brother.
as a fuel to the fire. Diba?
Yeah. And you have your brother to compete with, right?
Also, but he's much less emotional than I am, so I think he keeps me in check. Yeah. But he definitely pushes me to train, working out and practicing. Yeah.
That's good. It's good tandem. It's a good
Yes.
tandem. I wonder, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just curious. Just one thing. Do you also lead the trash talking department in your team?
Or
Oh,
are
I
you
love
also
that. Oh
are
my
you also a
god.
Bash sister to add to that? Like Mighty Ducks, the Bash brothers. Maybe you have the Bash sisters.
There were siblings, remember? In part 2, I think, or was it part
I know they weren't
Yeah.
really brothers in real life.
No,
Because they
no,
also
no,
had
no.
the same, right?
They were just very alike. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were just like, yeah.
Trash talking, I guess, to an extent. Yeah. But again, I have to be careful because the tone that I set on the bench. If I'm too intense with the trash talking, everyone might be like, "Oh my gosh, why is she so intense?" Then everyone will get cold. Or maybe if I trash talk and they think I'm not taking it seriously, and everyone just relaxes a bit too much. So I don't know. I think I'm conscious of that, but I can
Nice.
trash talk.
Mhm. She admitted it. She admitted it.
What was the how do I say what was the best trash talk that you ever done?
Oh, I'd rather not say. I mean, no, I'm not anything off the top of my head. But sometimes I do it intentionally to put everyone at ease,
Yeah.
so that they don't take it very seriously. Like, ano ba naman yan? That girl can't skate. Like, we didn't even touch her. Right? So stuff like that, just so that they know and like, you can loosen up. And, it actually also just like feeds their confidence a bit sometimes.
Okay. Right.
Other times it's just pure frustration. So I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I love it. I love trash talk. Yeah, I love it.
I love it. I love very.
Mic me up in one game now, put a mic here while I play.
Yeah, you're like,
Oh, why not? Why not?
I don't need to do
We're
that, yeah.
interested.
that's
This
One
all I
thing
can
I
say.
can-
We're a fan now. We're a fan.
And yes. Maybe one thing, no, my face off, and then you go, "Oh, I'm gonna get this puck, and I'm gonna put it on the left side of the net. Watch." Calling your move.
Oh,
Jay?
your
you're
move.
laughing because you said that before, haven't you?
No,
Me?
it reminded me
Oh
of
no,
something.
you yes.
So my brother played a game against Malaysia, the junior team, and everyone's very good friends. Like every hockey community in Southeast Asia, it's very small, so we've seen each other a few times. So anyway, we're friends with the players, and BJ was on the ice. He was doing a face-off with one of the guys, and the score was a bit far. I just won't say in whose favor. But VJ goes,
15-2.
"Hey, Dean, hey, Dean, let me win the face-off. I'll give you my coupons to that restaurant." It's not trash talk, but the friendliness is there, the conversations are there. And I'm the same way with the Singapore team because I'm really close to them. Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't played them in a while, but yeah, the experience are definitely there on the ice.
Wow, that's so good that you have a close-knit community with the Southeast Asian neighbors, no?
Oh, one time I think I was losing my cool against Singapore, and it was my best friend on the ice. So I gave her a little nudge from behind, and I go happy birthday because it was her birthday.
That's a very sweet gift. My goodness.
Right? Shout out to her, Wenlin. Yeah.
Happy birthday
You're very-
during that time.
You're very sweet.
Related.
You're very thoughtful. Soft nudge for her birthday. My goodness.
Trash talk, but it's
Love tap. It's a love tap. Right? That's what
Tapos, yun pala, yung regalo, goal. The Philippines
Oh.
scores.
They won though. So I said
I
that
did
was my
Okay,
one.
that's just me
That was a
messing
gift.
around.
That was a gift for her.
Okay.
Yun na lang. Yun ang gift nyo.
Yeah.
Oo. All right, Claro.
My konting
Wanna do the-
sportsmanship.
Oh, nga.
Yeah.
Rapid fire na tayo. You want?
Yeah, maybe before we close down this conversation, head to the rapid fire, no? I think the Philippines got to host the SEA Games. We got to host the Challenge Cup, but I think that was for men's. Have we been able to host any women's tournaments so far? And for you, what will it take for the Philippines to host more tournaments? Because I think that's one way for you guys to get exposure, of course.
Yeah. So we were supposed to host right before lockdown. So we were supposed to host
Aray.
2020 mid-Feb, and the tournament got canceled first week Feb.
So early.
because of COVID. Yeah. So that was very unfortunate. But I think we're still hosting the next tournament as soon as the vaccine is out and everyone gets their shots when it's safe. But yeah, hopefully we get the host, because you're right, that would definitely help us, get followers, or I don't know, invite all of the kids, coach, relatives, friends. Obviously, much like the men's team. If you ask the men's team, one of their best experiences was definitely playing on home ice during the SEA Games. I don't know if any of you were able to watch the live stream, but then the crowd was just so into it, so electric. Obviously, when they'd score, and I mentioned it's a very small rink, you'd really hear everyone's. I wish
The banging on the glass.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be the same for the women's, but hopefully it is. Hopefully we get that support that the men's team got. 2022 maybe. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can invite the show. You can invite us. We're
Yes,
gonna
you have-
gladly record that show.
Okay. In terms of hosting, I don't know what we can do to host more. I think everyone just gets countries get nominated to host, so I don't think it's really in our hands. But definitely the host, because has to pay for all the teams' hotel bookings and
Yes, yes.
allowances. I think something like that, and then obviously the rink rental. So there's a lot of financial issues. I don't think we're financially capable of hosting that many tournaments, although we do get support from PSC, POC. But yeah, a lot more goes into it than just wanting to host, obviously. But I don't know. We do need also a lot more financial backing,
Sponsorship.
sponsors.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would help, I guess, for hosting more tournaments.
That's right.
Well,
Well,
thank
hopefully
you very much for sharing that. Yeah, and telling us, of course, what hockey can build on, of course, as we'd like to see the sport grow. The podcast will definitely support you guys. You have an open invitation to come back on the show, whether it's a tournament or
Yes.
anything.
We like
Yes.
that.
with your teammates.
Thank you. And you're
Definitely.
invited to watch the games.
Oh, yes,
We'll be
definitely.
watching.
We're
Yeah,
gonna definitely watch the games.
Mhm.
Perfect.
And that's a chance for us, of course, to feature the sport even more, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
the much awaited quick fire round. Here we go. So, you can just give us an answer straight up. You do not need to explain your answers. You can if you want to, of course. Maybe if it's an unpopular answer. I'm more of like the warm up round. I'm the nice guy. So,
Yes.
No, you're
you
not.
get to. You're the not nice guy, Jay. You deflect. Okay. So, name your favorite restaurant, and then let's say it's eat all you can. You get to bring 3 friends to that restaurant. Maybe it's teammates from the past or the present, maybe.
Okay. Overthinking at once. Kimpura.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. 3 friends. Wenlin from Singapore. Camille Pastrana. Rocio Clement. Yeah. They all don't know each other, but yeah. 3 of them.
Hopefully, when you
Are
go
they
out,
strong
they'll
eaters?
Yeah.
Or
Yes, they are. So, yes.
they eat a lot. They eat a lot.
All right. Okay, you're done, Claro?
Yeah, I'll pass it to you guys first.
Okay. For me, okay, Danielle. So there's an earthquake, all right, and then you have to run out, but you have to take something with you. What jersey will you bring? The jersey that you use on your first tournament, or the jersey that you use when you became captain the first time?
The jersey I used when I became captain, because that was the very first international tournament for women's hockey in the Philippines.
Nice. Okay. Where did you go?
For the earthquake, I don't know, like outside.
No, where did you go for your first captain?
Thailand.
Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, actually, that jersey, I met the captain of Canada, and I had her sign that jersey, right where the sea is. So it was
Nice.
yeah, so I'd run with that and save it.
All right. Frame it and run with the frame.
Yes, the frame. I'll bring the frame.
All right.
Jay?
Jay?
I have 3 questions, but I'm gonna mention the first 2. I'll save the last question later. Here's the first of the 2 questions. Would your brother score on you if you're the goalkeeper on a face-off?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, it's an easy answer.
I've never played good. He has a very good shot, so yes. I
Knuckle
probably
puck time.
close my eyes. Or I get out of the way. I don't know. But yes, sorry.
Okay, so the second question is, let's flip the sides. You're the one who's going to score. Your brother's the goalkeeper. Are you going to score on your brother?
I think so. It would be this exact same situation. I think. I'd like to think. I'd like to think so, huh? I don't know if you ask him, but I think so.
No,
Nice.
remember, Claro, we asked the similar question to Simon last week, but he mentioned that he knew where Harvey Gayoso will go. I don't know if it applies to similar. Yes, I don't know if it applies similar to Daniel has, or I don't know if where your brother will go, or does your brother know where you will go if you ever do a face-off? I don't know your strategy.
I don't
But
think
they have
we'd
that-
know. I don't think we'd be able to predict that well. No.
Oh, nice.
We can get
Sneaky,
pretty
sneaky.
creative then, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
one thing though, if your brother's the keeper, Mighty Ducks, can you pull off the triple deke or whatever the name of that move is?
Yes.
Is it a real move? Oh, okay.
It's a real move. Okay.
Woohoo!
All right. I got
Okay.
another quick fire. Well, not really, but we're all fans of the Mighty Ducks, right? So who will you choose as your teammates on the ice? Characters of the Mighty Ducks.
Adam Banks. Oh, okay. Adam Banks, Charlie Conway. Oh no, I don't remember the names. Guy Germain, I forgot his name.
Yeah, that's him. I
We'll
think.
just have another girl, Connie Moreau.
She's the one that I am not a lady. I am a duck.
I'm a duck. Yeah. Let's hear it.
I'm not a lady, I'm a duck.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
All right. Cool. Not Goldberg?
I don't remember
He's a-
the name. No, there was a girl.
The
Julie
keeper.
the cat. I have her as goalie. Julie
Yes.
the cat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was good. Yeah, that last when she held the puck for a long time, like during the penalty, and she goes,
Just flip it up.
yeah, right. But goosebumps. All right.
Padrama, no? She just
Yeah,
held it. 5-second delay. Whoops, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, we win.
I think I'm gonna watch Mighty Ducks after this.
We made a lot of Mighty Ducks reference, actually. We
Yeah.
failed to count. We failed to count.
That's where it starts.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
where
hockey
it
starts
starts.
as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Jay,
Although
your
I
last-
did have one
Yeah.
goalie.
Claro, you have
Okay.
something?
Wait. Danielle, that's
Go
okay.
ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead, Daniel.
Like my old goalie before she made a save with the glove and she threw it to the side, but it went in. So I wouldn't want to see that
Wow.
in person.
Okay.
I was stunned. I was like, how did that happen? Yeah. So maybe not copy Julie the cat then, unless it's like forward.
Not backwards.
Not backwards.
Oh my
So
god.
kids, okay, it's okay to get Mighty Ducks to inspire you to play hockey, you know? Just don't really follow the fundamentals per se, okay? We got our
Right.
national team members,
Oh,
so
no.
you can they
Here's
have their
here's
coaches.
a good idea. Here's a good idea. If ever we do another episode with Daniel, we do it live, okay? But what we're gonna do is we watch Mighty Ducks together, and then Daniel can actually tell us which of these moves in that movie are real work or just plain Hollywood work.
We may have
Diba?
to buy the movie and have it
I can
copyrighted.
just download it. I can just download.
Bawal
We can't
yan,
do that.
Jay.
We're not gonna do that. Jay. Don't listen to him. We can
Yeah.
download it and put it on live. And all right, Jay, your last quick fire.
Claro, you have one.
Yeah, just to end maybe your favorite rink so far where you got to play an international match and the country maybe.
Oh, Hong Kong. Yeah. So the rink is on the 10th floor, and there's just a big window beside it and the food court around. So that was the very first rink I played in overseas. So it was a recreational tournament. I've never played an official tournament there, but that would be my favorite rink.
Do you
The
remember where in Hong Kong is that?
Mega Box, Kowloon side.
Oh,
I don't.
Kowloon.
Kowloon,
It's called
Okay.
Mega Box. Yeah.
Mega Box.
Damn, I miss Hong Kong.
Very-
Anyways, so here's
okay.
Yeah.
You
have
got one, Jay?
Claro?
Or before I conclude, you can go
Okay,
ahead, Jay.
I'll fire my last one here. So here's the thing, Daniel. Listen to this scenario very carefully. The lockdown will end unless you do this one thing. There's among two choices. If you're not able to choose the other one, you must not do it for an entire year. Okay? So there's two situations for the lockdown to end. You must do one. The other one you do not choose. You must not do it for the entire year. Okay? You want to know what these two things are?
Well,
So the first one is
yeah.
you get to play ice hockey outdoors. I don't know if you've heard what the NHL is about to do in Lake Tahoe. They're gonna play an official NHL game outdoors. I think that's in a matter of 2 weeks or so. So that's the one thing. The other thing is going to the beach and go surfing.
So
So
sorry.
if you choose one, if you
Yeah.
choose the other one, you will not do the other one for a year. So what you would rather choose? You go to the beach and surf or play ice hockey? Play ice
Outdoors.
hockey. Outdoors.
I'd go
yes.
to the beach. I think I can do without the outdoor hockey. I'd love to. I haven't since I started playing, so I can do another year without doing that. But I just love the beach. I can't. I'm going to the beach next week. I'm not taking you up on your offer.
Okay. So that includes
It is.
indoor ice hockey, right? So that includes indoor ice hockey. If you choose to go to the beach and surf, you won't do hockey for a year. Is that okay?
You said outdoor.
You said outdoor.
Outdoor only. You can play in
Yeah.
MOA.
You said outdoor. You have to explain your question.
Okay.
My loophole.
Okay. I'm just not being fair to Daniel at all. I'm not being fair to Daniel at all. Okay, just outdoor. You can go to the beach.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to
Right, Claro.
conclude, your dream venue. Maybe there's a certain place where you want to play hockey, whether it be Madison Square Garden or maybe there's a nice place where they held the Olympics in Korea. Where do you want to play hockey? A dream venue.
Wow. I don't really know many of the rinks. Probably the rink where they played the women's Olympic Games in Sochi, just because just because I've watched those games so many times. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know where that
Let's
rink
go
is.
to
but
Russia.
Yeah, very picturesque place, Sochi. And then around the Olympic facility, there's a racetrack that goes around it. So multi-purpose. Interesting answer. So anyway, before you maybe give a message to people, you want to say hi to some friends. I forgot to ask you, sorry. What is the eligibility to play for the national team? Do you need a Filipino passport, maybe, at the least?
Yeah, so you need a Filipino passport. You need to have played in the Philippine League for I think 2 years or 3 years, and then you have to be above 16 on the year of the tournament. Oh, yeah, 16 on the year of the tournament.
16.
Okay.
2000. So 2005. You were born 2005. Okay. No age limit.
Just that. At
No,
most.
anyone like 50 could join.
Oh, my goalie 2 years ago was actually 50 years old. So no age.
Your goalie was 50
Wow.
years old.
Yeah, shout out to Tita Jenny Ticonova. She was amazing. Yeah, and do you know why she played? Because
Why?
again, we needed a second goalie, and the second goalie wasn't available. So my mom was the manager at that time, and she just looked around the ring and goes, "Jenny, I need you to play goalie."
Wow.
Yeah, so we're struggling with the numbers. But yeah, she enjoyed it. She trained hard
That's
for
an
it. She did really well. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good.
On the spot tryout
Come
yun,
on.
On the spot.
Her daughter was on the same team, so mother daughter.
Oh, that's another one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So shout out
Pretty
to her
cool.
daughter din pala, Melanie Ticonova. Yeah.
That's
Shout
pretty
out.
cool.
That's
So I have a chance, guys. I have a chance to play hockey.
yeah.
You should learn how to start skating, Claudia.
I
There's
can
no
skate.
running
I can skate.
now you
actually.
can skate.
Yeah. So I'm still within below 50, but you know. So
You have that
with
light bulb
mind,
moment. You have that.
I had that light bulb moment. Yeah. Okay, Claro.
So interesting, huh? Yeah. I've never heard of any other tandems of mother-daughter or parent and child. We only heard of one in Iceland. Really small pool also. So a dad and his son got to play together for the national team in football. So we also have that feat here in the Philippines, guys. Everybody mark that. So Danielle, thank you very much for coming on. Maybe you have any parting
Quick shout
words
outs.
people you want to invite to check out hockey, play the sport, more friends
Try
you want to
out.
say hi to.
Yeah. Well, to invite, I invite everyone to watch hockey. So obviously when the rinks open again, and especially if we host the tournament. So hopefully you guys will help me promote that. And then obviously shout outs to my teammates. I miss you guys. We haven't played in over a year. But hopefully I'm excited to see everyone when the rinks open to get ready for the tournaments that we have coming up. Shout out to my brother, my mom, and my dad, who's just behind this wall. Hi, guys. Who else? Yeah, I don't know. Hi, guys, everyone. Yeah, stop there.
Well-
I can't think of this.
Well, again, you guys, you have the support of Who the Heck Are We, and thank you so much for your time. So again, that's Danielle Imperial of the Philippine national hockey team. Once again, this was Claro Manzano alongside Claudia Perrine, Sir Jay De La Cruz. This is Who the Heck Are We. Hit that subscribe button, give us 5 stars. If you don't like the show, still give us 5 stars. And we'll see you next week.
Don't
See
forget
ya.
Wolverine Ballin.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.